Hello guys, this is my first video like this on YouTube, so welcome to my channel. So I am Yuki Ultimate, the princess of quality handmade footwear. So today I want to be teaching us how to make very simple slippers with limited material. You know how the country is right now. These are kind of very expensive, and most shoemakers are like struggling to get um get material to produce slippers that will last but will cost little. I'm here to solve that problem, to teach you how to get the material, how to combine materials to make very simple slippers at the affordable rate and that will last. The slippers can sell at the rate of 2,000 naira, and as producers you can sell for the rate of 1,500 naira. Myself, I sell for individuals for the rate of 1,500 naira, and for wholesale, you want to buy in bulk, like you want to resell, I sell that one for the rate of 1,200 naira or 1,000 naira, depending on the quantity you're buying. So I'm going to teach us how to make just one pair of it, and in subsequent videos I'm going to teach how to mass produce, how to cut costs. This one we're going to make now is going to be cheaper, but when we are talking about mass production, you know you're buying the material in quantity, and it will make it even less expensive. So let's just dive into the video. This is the materials. This is Mako sole. It's sold at the rate of 400 naira per pair. It's Mako sole, Nigerian Nora. That's what this one is called. The next material we're going to be introducing is Mako. This is Mako. It's faceless, doesn't have front and back, and a pair of this is sold for 250 naira in the market. I have a sheet of it, so that is why I could not drag it up completely to show. So this is leather. Yeah, this is leather. A pair of leather is sold at the market for 400 naira, but because I have this one in the market, in the shop, I decided to use it. This is gum cup. This is the gum I poured in it. At the end of the day, I used like less than half of this gum anyway. So like a gum of 200 naira can serve you for this. So that is that on that. So right now we'll dive into cutting. We are going to start by cutting the sole. This shape we are using now is size 40. Size 40. This is what is going to give us the shape of the slippers at the end of the day. So we are using the size 40 of it to mark and cut. So just follow me closely as we go. So after cutting the sole, we set that aside. Set the sole aside and then begin to mark the Mako. This is the sheet of Mako. So we begin to mark the Mako. So just keep washing. For this Mako, we are not going to cut it in pieces like we did to the sole. The reason is because if you cut it in pieces, when you want to place the leather, it might be falling out on one side and to end up shortening your shape. So we have to place it on the leather first before we cut. So we'll cut it together with the leather so that it will be smoother. Just follow me closely and you'll see how I'm going to do it. So after applying the gum, you have to set that aside to dry while you go ahead to prepare the top. So this is the top we're about to start preparing. The leather for the top, the stripes that will make up the slippers we are doing. So for this leather now is not straight. So the first thing to do is to just get a straight line, which is what I'm marking presently. And after that straight line, you have gotten the straight line. You will now measure is a stripe, is a slipper stripe. So we are going to measure 2 centimeters each to make up the stripe. The 4 stripes we need for the slippers. So 2 centimeters at the top, 2 centimeters at the bottom. With that, we can now connect the dots to get a straight line for our stripe. For this also, we are not cutting it in pieces. We're just going to trim off the excesses, then apply gum. With that, you don't litter gum around it, like the gum does not touch the surface you need. Because if you cut it small, your brush might end up touching the other side when you are applying the gum on it. So we are just going to just apply the gum like that, and when we are done, when this dry enough for us to fold, then we can now trim off the excesses. But for now, we are just going to apply this gum like this. So we are done with that also. We are going to set it aside to dry too. Then we introduce the one we applied gum before. It's now dried, so it's time to place it. Carefully place one end and then bring down the other. Watch me closely and you see how I'm doing it. With that, you don't leave excess of your shape that you have marked outside the leather. The leather needs to accommodate all the shape of the mark so that you don't get short on your shape. After placing it, just rub the leather and on the marco with a little pressure on it. Then you begin to cut. You're cutting the leather and the marco together now, so that the end will be smooth. After cutting the floor, the next thing to do is to bring back our stripes, and it's dry now, so we begin to cut. First of all, trim off the excesses and then you cut the shape you have marked in it. After cutting, then you fold. So it's time to start folding. How to fold is you bring these two ends and place them together, then press it down to meet the back. Don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, but you can see what I'm doing. Just press it together and hold the two tips, and then use the other hand to press it together, and it's coming down. I'll show you I will show you very closely soon. Just hold on. So I'll show you for the last time. You bring it very close and press these two ends together. You see the end here, then press it down like that, and then you begin to hold the two ends while pressing down with the other hand and moving forward. That is how to fold. So now we are going to punch it with a puncher and a puncher board. They are for the equipment. We're going to do another video to introduce all the equipment to you very soon. But for this now, we are going to perforate 2 inches from on one end of the leather. 2 inches from one end, and then once you have marked that, then we can use that and mark the rest before we perforate it, and then we fix pin to hold it together. After perforating the holes, we go ahead and fix pins on it. So that's what we're doing, and after that we'll use plier to clip it together to make it firm so that it doesn't come off. Now to the floor itself. This is where the leg supposed to be on the slippers. So what we measure just now is 2 inches from the top. From the very up, we measure 2 inches. That's where we get the measurement. When you want to make the hole, just make sure that the other side where the 4 toes are supposed to be is a bit wider than where the one toe is supposed to be, the big toe is supposed to be. Just a bit, not in the middle, but not really too much bigger. So that's how to get that place. You don't really need much measurement to measure the weight. Just that from the top you measure, then 2 inches, then you just use your eye gauge to make sure that the other side is bolder. After fixing that front, then we just stretch it backward like this. Some are shorter, some are longer, so you just use your eye gauge to know where you want your own to be. Doesn't have a measurement. Taking it backward doesn't have a measurement, so you just use your sense to just check, do you want the shorter one or do you want longer one? Then you stretch it down to where you want it to be. Then you also perforate the 4 ends. Yes, those 4 ends, you perforate them. After that, you're going to go ahead and use the one you have already marked to measure the other one. So that's what I'm doing. Just use the one that you have already make all those perforations on to measure the other leg. And after that, you also perforate the other leg, and they are the same. Just be sure to follow the markings straight. Don't move your puncher so that they are equal at the end of the day. After that, you use your cutter to cut in between the holes, just the way I'm doing it. Make sure it doesn't pass to the other end. cut it. You're going to give it two marks, cut from this side and then cut the other one. The reason why you're doing this is so that the slippers will balance well, the stripes will balance well inside the slippers when you fix it. If you don't cut off that little excess in the center like that, it will make the slippers looking real. It's time to start lasting. For the front, we're going to use our ruler to measure 1 centimeter. Once it's 1 centimeter, then you cut off the excesses and place that down before using the last on it. The second leg, measure the 1 centimeter. If it's okay, then you cut off the excesses before you place it. The reason why you're cutting off that place, if it's too long, you cut it off. The reason why you're cutting it off is because you don't want it to affect the other side when you finish the work, making it raise. So you go ahead and place the last inside and then drag it the way I'm doing it. Depending on the size you're making, the last is size by size. So this one we're making now is size 40, don't forget. So you just use the last, place it inside and drag it. Make sure it's tight, not over extra tight on the last before you just go to the back and gum it. We go ahead and file the that tip, so go ahead and file it, and after filing we'll be back. Now we are done filing, so this is it. The reason for filing that place is to make sure that the gum grips on it very well. If you don't file it, it will be too smooth for gum. So when you gum it, once water touch it, it will start coming off. That's why we need to file it. Then we are going to go ahead now, apply gum, set it aside to dry before we place it on the sew. So to check if this gum is dry now, you're going to put your hand over it. Just put your hand on it, and if it's not sticking to your hand, then you know that it is dry. But if it's sticking to your hand, then it's not dry. For this one now, it is dry. So we're going to go ahead and place it. This is how to place. You place the end, the end, one end, be it back or front. Just place one end, then take it to the other end and place it. make sure you grab it at the back like that so that that center doesn't go down. Once you place that front perfectly like that, everything will go down on its own, just naturally, to just go down without much stress. So like that, it doesn't need much stress to just go down after placing the two ends. Just place the back, then place the front, and at the end of the day to just go down naturally. But if you say you want to place one side from one side and going to the other end, sometimes the other one might, the up might be remaining, or the sole will not be enough to contain it all. But once you have placed the one end and then go to the other end and place, it will always, or every other thing will just fall in place. It's advisable you use mallet to mallet it, not hammer. Hammer will give it marks, so it's advisable you use mallet, like this one I'm using, this rubber hammer that I'm using to hammer it. After malleting, you go ahead to file it. Yes, just file the end to make it smooth. File it all through the both legs. So you go ahead and file. So this is how smooth it will look after filing. After that also you just clean. After cleaning, I like to wash my slippers with detergent and water. Used to make it look very clean and very fresh after washing. So this is my water for washing, and I have already have a little detergent inside the bucket. That's just how little you need. Don't need much. And based on that, I'm washing only one slippers. If I'm washing much, usually I have two buckets of water, one for washing and the other one for rinsing. But now I'm pouring it over like this because, of course, I have to just wash only this one, so I don't need two buckets, any other extra bucket to wash it. As I'm pouring the water over it like this. And then this is the slippers, looking fine. I'm going to keep it now to dry, and when it's dry, then I will show you the finished work. Yes. So after our slippers dried, this is it. It's looking so fine, so fresh. So for these slippers, guys, I'm going to give these slippers away to someone. So if you are watching this video and you know that you are interested in the slippers, just type interested. I don't want someone far, because the slippers is not, the price of the slippers is not worth taking far, like spending excess to bring to the person that wants it. So if you know you want the slippers and you are living somewhere around Gariki, because I'm in Gariki market, so if you're living somewhere around Gariki, just write interested on the comment section, then we'll get back to you on how you're going to come to our shop and pick it. Thank you.